What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Get a Grip. I'm your host, Kendall Rusing, and we're about to get rocking and rolling. Today, I have a quick and snappy episode for you on how to literally transform your life in 7 days. I know that sounds dramatic, and it's because it is, but sometimes drastic situations call for drastic measures. And sometimes when you're feeling that itch for, like, I just need to fucking step it up. I need something to change. I need something to move in my life. I'm missing my fire. I'm missing my passion, whatever it is. Or like, I feel like I'm on the brink of an upgrade and I just don't know how to get there. Okay, before we head into the full podcast, if you would be so kind as to rate, like, subscribe, follow the podcast, depending on the platform you're listening on, that would be so amazing and appreciated. It really impacts the kind of guests we can have on, how quickly the podcast grows, and it might be something that you might not think about or is easily skipped, but it makes a huge difference to us and the team. So I really appreciate that. Thanks. Sometimes you need a drastic measure, and it's funny because it's something I work on with my clients inside Jiu Jitsu Accelerator, the one-on-one coaching program. It's really like a personal development program through the lens of the jiu-jitsu lifestyle rather than a jiu-jitsu coaching program. But what I found, and this is what we're going to go over today, is like for jiu-jitsu athletes or practitioners, same thing. Or if you don't do jiu-jitsu and you're someone, you can replace it with fitness, or you can replace it with another passion that you have, or your work or something else. There are 4 pillars to athletic performance or that lifestyle success that we are looking for, especially for us highly driven, ambitious people who are often very hard on ourselves and our own worst critic or harshest critic, you could say. Best critic, worst critic. I don't know what category that'd fall under, but we're harsh on ourselves, right? And we're constantly striving for more. Is that breaking it down into a couple of categories can really alleviate the pressure to be everything all the time to everyone and to show up perfectly in each one. So the way we break down these categories are, number one is jujitsu. So that would be, you could replace that with something else. If you're not a jujitsu practitioner, you could use work or something in a different category, family. And then mindset, which is really the first pillar, but you know, we'll use jiu-jitsu for number one for today. And mindset is number two. Mindset, typically we work on that first with my clients because that affects everything and anything that we do. So we focus on that first and foremost. And the next one would be strength and conditioning, and then nutrition. And they don't necessarily need to go in a specific order. But when we break these down into 4 categories, we're able to separate out some of the categories of our lives and give ourselves bite-sized tasks that we will actually do, or bite-sized shifts that we will actually make, so that we're not over-promising and under-delivering to ourselves. You hear the term over-promising and under-delivering under promising and over delivering. Well, whatever. Either way, you hear that a lot in business, right? Because in business, you want to under promise and over deliver, right? You don't want to tell someone that their Airbnb is going to be ready for check in at 10 a.m. and then you can't get them in until 3 and you mess up their day. But if check in is supposed to be at 3 and then you message them that they can go in early at 10, they're going to be freaking stoked, right? So under promising and over delivering rather than the reverse. So we hear that in business a lot. But I think sometimes we forget that doing that with ourselves is also not only a beautiful way of feeling good and feeling proud of ourselves, but it is also one of the best ways I found to build a high level of self-trust and to have that level of integrity with ourselves, where if we say we're going to do something, we do it. We know we have that follow through. We like and respect ourselves more when we do that, and we build our self-esteem along the way. So what we're going to do today in this episode, and it's a nice one because you can write stuff down as you go if you think of it, or you can just listen on your walk or your drive or wherever you are on your cardio machine and or doing laundry or whatever it is. And you can just listen and it'll maybe jog some ideas for you. And also, if you're watching this on the screen, you may see I just went to, where was I? London. And I saw the Devil Wears Prada Broadway adaptation. And my hat says cerulean. It's cerulean blue. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. I know I don't maybe strike you as a fashion guru, but that movie, I feel like altered my brain chemistry. Watching it on Broadway was so good. I watched it with my mom and my sister, and I literally left the movie like, I need a wardrobe makeover. Like, that's how that movie makes me feel, but like in a fun, wholesome way. Anyway, so I have a cute hat on. So we are going to get into the four pillars. So first of all, if we look at jujitsu, or we look at work, or we look at family, wherever you want to use in that category, for my clients and myself, we use jujitsu because that's such a big part of our lives. We want to identify one small change we can make, and stick to it, right? So maybe you typically train 2 to 4 times a week and you've been slacking lately, or you've been feeling like, okay, I told myself I was going to go 4, but then I only went 2. Or you told yourself, okay, I'm going to train 3 times this week, and I said I was going to do a bunch of rounds of sparring each time and train really hard, but I feel like, I sat out of rounds, or I let myself get picked last so that I got to rest a round, or I got to go with the brand new student and didn't get challenged, or I went late because I didn't want to do the warm up, or all of these really common human things. The idea here would be to pick something that's small and actionable. So, hey, for the next week, here's some examples of a commitment. For the next week, I'm going to go to train, and I'm going to do every single round of sparring after class as long as people go, no matter what. Even if I get smashed, even if I get armbarred 5 million times, it doesn't matter. I am going to do every single round. Obviously, train with safe training partners and all that. And if you're injured, you have to modify, but we're making a generalization here because I don't know who every single person I'm talking to is different. And I'm different on a, daily, weekly, monthly basis as well. So this applies differently in different cases. But that's one example. Another example would be, when I go to train, I'm going to pull guard on every single person I train with because I want to have that discipline around working on my guard because I'm a top player, right? That's definitely something I have had to do over the years. And that would be something that you could do. And the goal, again, is not to, like, you have to make this something that you believe you will do and not make it too long of a goal. This is 7 days. For the next 7 days, what can you commit to? Will you do this? Will you have the courage? Will you have the commitment to yourself? And also, like, it doesn't need to be a giant altruistic thing that you think is going to change your life. It just needs to be something that feels somewhat challenging so that it pushes you slightly out of your comfort zone. So that would be thing number one. Now, thing number two, we're going to go to mindset. So you'd pick something in mindset that you want to adjust. Maybe this is writing your goals down and reading them every morning and every night before you go to bed for 7 days. Maybe this is, we can go to our mantras and affirmations. We all love a good mantra and affirmation. Maybe it's visualization instead of mantras. Maybe it's a visualization that you're going to do. You pull up to the gym before you train, before you go in and lift, before you go into work, you close your eyes for 5 minutes. You visualize exactly how it's going to look, feel, touch, taste, smell, who you're going to step into, who you're going to be. Because changing your life is a process of becoming. Stepping into who you want to be is a process of becoming. It's not that it's not about the destination. I don't want to be too cheesy in that sense. I love a gold medal. I love a paycheck. I love a goal, I love a destination. But the process of getting to that thing has to do with becoming the person who can do it. So visualizing that, right? Another example of something in mindset could be a journaling practice. Another example of something in the mindset could be thinking about something you say to yourself negatively, whether that's during training or during work, or around your meal times or whatever it is, or when you're feeling fatigued, or when you're getting smashed or getting tapped out, or you're trying to do a technique that you have a hard time completing because of your flexibility, whatever it is. Having something in mind that you say to yourself negatively, writing it down and rewriting it, rerouting that language to, one example you could say is a common one when you get smashed in side control, like, oh man, I can't wait till this round is over because like I always get stuck here. I'm just not good enough to get out of this position. You could say something to yourself, not just a mantra that you won't believe, that doesn't feel true to you, that's in some self-help book. I mean, I'm not against self-help books, but I will say sometimes the process of affirmations can be difficult for some of us because we we logic ourselves out of it. So we don't want to use something like, oh, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm the best at jiu-jitsu, I'm a black belt world champion. Like, we want to put things on the paper that we can help ourselves believe, but not to say they're not going to be big challenges, but we can help ourselves believe and give ourselves proof to back up. So what that statement could be is, being stuck down here is uncomfortable, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to practice my patience, to practice my breath, to practice my self-preservation, and to practice my escapes even when it sucks. So that would be like a decision that you can make for the next 7 days. Anytime in that situation, because I do find myself there often, or whatever the situation is that you have negative self-talk, this is what I'm going to say to myself instead. And it doesn't mean we do it perfectly, but you have the attempt to do it each time. So that's for mindset. So you want to pick one thing from mindset. The next would be for nutrition, right? Or strength conditioning, whichever one first. We'll do nutrition because that's on my mind. Next for nutrition. Want to pick something again that you can do for the next 7 days. Now, at risk of repeating myself too many times, this is not something that you're going to decide that you don't actually feel you'll follow through on. So, for example, you wouldn't say, if you were me, this is Kendall speaking, you wouldn't say, I'm not going to touch any dessert like object and I'm going to eat perfectly clean for the next 7 days. For me, not just as someone with an eating disorder history, but just as a human being, like that doesn't feel like a loving choice to me because it doesn't feel like something that I will actually want to follow in a loving way that's kind for myself. It's not going to feel good. It's going to feel not, the word isn't restrictive as in like having discipline is bad, but it's going to feel like a punishment. Like for what? For why? Like that's supposed to be good for me? No, I'm picking things that are going to be good for me that are challenging. So I might say like just one small thing. Okay. It's so funny. This is one thing my clients do all the time, which is funny that they're not doing it already, but we forget how many humans are not drinking water in the morning. How many people listening are drinking a liter of water within the 90 minutes to 120 minutes of waking up, hour and a half to 2 hours, right? I think I got my math right. Yeah. How many of us are drinking a liter of water in the morning before coffee, before food, right? That's not a common thing. So that could be something that you do for the next 7 days. It's your organs need it. Your body needs to wake up that way. You're dehydrated when you wake up after not drinking for 8 hours or however long you slept, hopefully 8 hours, right? So that could be one thing. Or it could be just adding in, 2 servings of a fiber or probiotic food to your daily routine for the next 7 days. So you have like a kimchi and a vegetable, or what I'm saying. So like one fiber and one probiotic, or two and two, or whatever suits you, whatever you can get your hands on. It could be that. It doesn't have to be restrictive. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. It doesn't, like, we're looking at how to make self-loving decisions that have a snowball effect, because when you do good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do more good things. So we're looking to benefit our own experience with motivation and momentum by feeding our own integrity and self-esteem. So then the next category would be strength and conditioning, right? So for some of us who are lifting quite often, and that's a normal part of our routine, this could be something like staying consistent with your workouts. It could be adding in a little cardio to the end of your workouts. It could be adding in some mobility or stretching on days that you're resting. It could be adding in a 10-minute walk during your lunch break. It doesn't have to be very specific around like deadlifting 400 pounds or whatever you crazy people are doing. So picking one thing in that category that you're going to do. So we've got these 4 categories. And then what I want you to do is just say, man, for 7 days, I'll push you a little and say 14. Okay. But just to keep it simple, for 7 days, I'm going to do my life like this. That's it. I'm going to do my life like this. Write it down, make it real, tell somebody, send someone this podcast and make an accountability partner. That's like the best. Accountability with humans is the best. Send me a DM. I will be stoked to, or leave a review and put it in there. I'll be stoked to read it and cheer you on, or comment, or wherever you're watching this. It's on YouTube, it's comments, but everything else is reviews, I think. You can tell how experienced I am with technology. Anyway, make an accountability partner, whether it's the internet or me or someone in your life, right? Or just write it on your mirror, on your journal, send it to God, whatever you want to do. All right. Whatever you believe in, do your thing. Write it down and do that for 7 days. And I'm telling you, the magic that happens when you speak into the world with your actions, when they are small but consistent and grounded around who you want to be and who you want to become, it changes things. It changes things, because if you think of a snowball, it starts small, but the more that it rolls through the snow, it picks up snow along the way. Now, the more this compounds, the bigger and the faster it gets and the more powerful it gets. So you'll notice that the 7 days quickly turns into 14. Now, does it mean that you're going to do these 4 things perfectly for the rest of your life? I hope not. That's a little psychotic. Like, that's not really what I'm saying here. But it taps us into a place of trusting that we do what we're going to say we're going to do, so that when we want to make bigger commitments, we now are building a higher threshold for our ability to do hard things or different things or things out of our comfort zone or to chase bigger goals. And that is a superpower. That is a superpower that nobody can take from you. Nobody can take from you. It is up to you. It is up to you to do that. And it's simple stuff. It is simple stuff. But it usually is the simple stuff that's hard for us to do because it always seems like you can do it later. It's hard. It's so simple that it's also simple to skip. And it's simple to think that there's a someday that it'll be. But what if just for today, just for one day, you could change a tiny couple of things without being in self-punishment mode, without being in restrictive, without being in, your perfectionistic bullshit, and just say, like, could I add a few loving actions into my life today? And what might that look like? It would probably feel pretty damn good to like overcome myself and overcome my own internal resistance and overcome some of my fear. That would be pretty fucking cool. So that's it. That's the podcast. Drop the mic. That's the message. Do it. I do this with my clients all the time. I do this with myself when I need a refresh, when I'm feeling a little stagnant. I'm like, okay, time to make some changes. Action creates alchemy. You have to move a little bit of energy around to get a different result. Heard that? I'm going to say it again, just in case you didn't hear. The action creates the alchemy. You have to move a little bit of energy around to get a different result, or else you're going to keep getting the same results you're getting. And if you are flying on cloud 9 right now on a high, keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. But if you're feeling like there's a little more you could tap into, you're kind of ready to make a jump, you're ready to make a shift, but you don't really know quite how to get there. This is a formula I've seen work for my clients and for myself over and over, and my family too, my friends. We talk about this all the time. This is how we can do it. And it's free and it's in your hands, and you get to be the one that celebrates it. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you to my amazing listeners who have stuck with me through my little, 2025 is going to be the return of the podcast. I'm going to be here all the time. A girl has been a little busy and like kind of a little going through it. Not like anything majorly bad is happening. Life's beautiful. Life's great. But some big girl stuff, a lot of business stuff going on. I've been traveling like crazy. I picked up some, a little bit of a life update, I guess. I picked up some media jobs that I wasn't planning on doing in multiple different countries. And that is such a blessing. And I love it, but it is really important for me to like try to do my best to stay grounded when I'm gone like more than half the month oftentimes. So sometimes when I do get a couple days home, I just don't force myself to be on camera, and I will, hopefully one day find a little bit of better flow with that, or bring the podcast on the road. I don't know why I've been hesitant to do that. I probably should just do that because I could get away with it, I'm sure. But that's one of those things where it's like, today I went to record this podcast and I was like, Kendall, just do it. Doesn't need to be perfect. Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just do it. Put it out there. Create the energy. Have fun with it. Feel good about it. And like, don't let the idea of it not being perfect, or doing, in my case, doing a weekly episode, or in your case, doing a perfect training session, stop you from getting into it, getting it out, doing your thing, because every act counts. Every act counts. So thanks for sticking with me while I messily have the return of the podcast. There are some episodes I'm excited to be filming soon. All that being said, some guests that are going to come out to the desert and film with me, which is super fun. Since I moved here last year out to Palm Desert, it's been a little harder to do stuff with guests because I used to do things like I used to live in Orange County and Newport Beach, so I'd have people come to me that were in LA or in Orange County. It was a lot easier. So now it's been a little bit challenging, but I'm going to be picking it up and I'm excited. And it'll be messy, and it'll be me, but it'll be fun. So thanks for being here for it. Thank you for listening. I'm sending you so much love and a very, very big hug. And definitely let me know, please, what you were doing for your 4 things. I would love to hear about it. Side note is totally off topic. But if you did watch the IBJJF Worlds, I was able to commentate them, was it last week? In the gi. And it definitely reignited my love for the gi. So you may see some training footage of me in the gi sometime soon. There were a lot of controversial calls. It was a lot of, oh my God, iconic moments, just incredible. So maybe I'll do an episode like breaking down some of my favorite moments of Worlds. I probably won't do that, but at least I put the idea out there to see how it feels. You're watching my internal struggle right now with podcasting. I love it so much, but one day I think it'll be more of my baby. Right now, it's kind of like, this is going to sound mean. It's like a long lost cousin, like see her every once in a while, love her, but like don't integrate her into your daily life. I don't know. I don't have a long lost cousin, but I just imagine. Okay. All right. That's all for me. See you guys next time.